doing that one next year. I'll be here all damn day.
All right, well, you got the win, a lot of money, but just tell us about starting back row and having to come through everybody like that.
Yeah, it was a little wild. The first, I don't know if they had a camera on me. It was just wild. You know, I know that's you get a bad start now, and the last chance, or even a main event, it's crazy the first few laps. You know, on TV, they rarely show the start and show the guy that's in like 11th and follow him for the first couple laps. But if they did, you'd see some wild stuff going on, especially in LCQ, which is more, you know, like what today felt like. Man, it's just crazy. I knew I had to get as good a start as I could and just come through ahead of as many guys as possible. Just to have that decent track position to try to first couple laps make as many passes as I could, and then just get into a place where I could put in some laps and try to reel the front guys in, because there's some fast guys, and I knew if they got out front, they could check out and it'd be too far for me to catch them. But yeah, I just had to get through as quick as I could and have a chance to reel them in, and I was able to do it. And but man, yeah, it was crazy. Guys T-boning each other and all over the place the first couple laps. So lucky to make it through there.
Yeah, realistically though, when you knew you were starting back row, were you like, I can win this, or is it kind of like, I don't know, we'll have to see?
I knew there's a possibility. I would say I was probably leaning more towards them. I could, you know, I know maybe the fast Paris is really fast too, riding good this year, Moran's. I knew if we all lined up evenly, I maybe should win or have a good chance at it. But man, starting second row, you just don't know. I wanted to think I could, but realistically, I was like, you know, if I get top 5, I think that'd be kind of the goal, be pretty good. And it's still a pretty good payday.
Right.
You know, Steve did an awesome job with it. And yeah, I knew it was a chance, but it'd be tough. And I knew what I had to do was, like what I just had to get through quick and give myself a chance, and we were able to do it.
Is there like extra pressure almost knowing how much money's on the line, like when you're in that race thinking about it a little bit?
So when I got to like third and I was looking up, I'm like, where's the leaders? I'm like, okay, I think that's the leader. And I'm like, okay, man, I could actually do this. And then it was like, oh crap, like I gotta make this happen. I kind of had like a half a lap that I was kind of like, okay, get it back. Because it was so chaotic, and kind of like calmed down. I looked up, and I'm like, oh crap, I have a chance to do this. I'm like, okay, like get it together and let's go. And yeah, so it's definitely some pressure. Everyone, oh, you could still win it. I'm like, it's gonna be hard, you know,
right.
when you have that expectation or whatever. So, but for me, just want to go. Like I said, I kind of, when they told me second row, I'm like, it's not ideal, but I kind of looked at it like a challenge, you know, like, hey, it's a great payday for everybody, you know, like I said with Steve, PulpMX, Yamaha, just everybody putting this together. It's a win for everybody, you know, that I was able to race today. And so thank you to all of them. But yeah, I just kind of looked at it like a challenge. I'm like, man, if I catch up to top 5, man, that's a great payday, you know, for a quick little race. and just what could I do? Could I catch up? And no, it was a lot of fun.
And lastly, just talk a little bit about, you know, Steve putting this together, Yamaha coming in and helping out put this whole program together. I mean, it's huge for privateers.
Yeah, obviously I'm a Yamaha guy. I've been for quite a few years now. And for them, you know, doing what they do, and then Steve, you know, they do what they do, but then Steve really takes that opportunity and giving it back to them. So he could do a million other things with it. And for him to do this, man, so I know there's some arguments about whether I should have been there or not. And my argument was, yeah, I might be faster than a lot of those guys, but I honestly, I get some bike. I gotta buy bikes from Yamaha. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not getting stuff free. I don't have factory stuff. My bike's stock by choice, but pretty stock. You know, I pay my own mechanic, entry fee, travel, fuel. You know, I'm as privateers guy in a pickup truck. I have a lot of great sponsors as well. Obviously, I'm not saying to throw a pity party for me by any means, but if you're really talking about a privateer, you know, I run my own program. It's me, my dad, and my mechanic, and we pay for pretty much everything. So for me, I'm like, this is huge. It's that covers a bunch of, you know, what I'm spending my own money to be here. So for Steve to take that opportunity with Yamaha and give it back to all of us is just, it's awesome. So big thank you to them and everybody that even donated with the raffles and other people that threw some extra stuff in. You know, thank you to all of them. It's really a lot of fun.
Autumn Moran's. Well, you got second right there at the end. It was going to be third, but you got Brees right at the end. Just talk us about the race. I mean, you were leading for a while, then you got Chiz coming up behind you. What was
everybody's just got to get Chiz, you know what I mean? But you know, the biggest thing for me was getting out to a good start. Obviously, I've kind of established myself as a good starter, so just had to really focus. Probably one of the biggest starts of my life, to be honest. So grab the start, grab the first to the finish, the first lap, and then from there is just complete focus mode and try to hit my marks because I knew who I had coming. I know I was probably pretty safe with who I had behind me. but I knew Chiz and Breeze, those guys were going to come up from the back of the field. So I just started hitting my marks, had to figure out the track a little bit. It took me like 2 or 3 laps because the 450 press went and they didn't have time to fix everything. So I finally got this big section over here and then just kind of started losing it in the whoops a little bit, to be really honest. So that's going to be the biggest thing that we're going to build back home with this money is a Supercross track right after Supercross, which I'm pretty stoked about, and just start getting better for next year. But yeah, he got around me, Chiz got around me in the whoops, the next lap, Breeze got around me in the whoops, and then that was when the white flag came out, so I knew I just had to stick right behind him and hope for a mistake, and he ended up making a mistake, and I capitalized and got second, which was huge.
What was the pressure like leading and knowing how much money's on the line? Like, is it heightened pressure in this race versus an
What's
LCQ,
really funny
or?
is like I was pretty calm, and then he wrote down 22,000 whatever it is for first, and I kind of thought about it in the whoops a little too much. But then there, I mean, I knew what position I was in. I've been in those positions before, high pressure, LCQ. Yes, there's a lot of money on the line, but I wasn't worried about, you know, trying to send it too much to take myself out of the race. I knew where I am capable of right now, and I know I'm capable of a lot more, but I'm just not there yet. Haven't had the training and the program yet. So that's what we're building. So I knew what my realistic finish was with Chiz behind me, so I just kind of like let him by a little bit, and then he actually missed a section, so I thought about coming back, but I was like, it's not worth getting tangled up because I knew we had more guys coming behind me. So just played it smart as I could, and ended up working out.
What do you think about this whole event, though? Obviously, the money that was put up was huge, but Steve putting this whole thing together and helping the privateers.
It's really, really great, man, because like somebody like me, you know, Chiz and Breeze, those were probably the two that were complaining about being in this race, but they're both privateers. They're on a little bit next level. So the biggest thing for me was just dealing with that and doing what I could with it.
Finished up in third, right at the end, blew it in the last corner, but coming from the back row, I mean, that's pretty gnarly to get all the way to third, right?
Yeah, it is super gnarly. I was just stoked that I was able to have the opportunity to come race here, so it was cool that we kind of diced our way through the pack, and as a second row, we wasn't sure how it was supposed to plan out, but you know, made a bobble. That's $6,000 that I lost, so that's kind of crucial, you know, especially for this 100,000 plus program that we have. So yeah, it adds up, and I'm just super stoked that I can start paying off the Supercross funds from this thing, you know, so I don't have to keep on swiping the credit card a little bit. But yeah, we're stoked on it, and that was costly. I think we're gonna start figuring this stuff out. We're gonna watch some film, and then we have a gnarly day tomorrow, and that's my goal. Is like I really want to get it really slammed down tomorrow and have a good result, and that's my main focus right now.
How was it coming through the field, just trying to make passes while also not getting taken out and stuff like that as well?
Yeah, it's super scary, but you know, it's kind of, we race these local races at home, and there's a couple like Squidward racing guys that happen, so kind of used to it, but it's more just like you got to really make sure you hold your line, if not kind of swerve left or right. But once we got through the fourth lap or so, it kind of made it pretty simple, you know.
How cool was this whole experience though, like the actual race, the money that's being paid out, Steve, and everything that's involved with this? What do you think of it all?
It's the best thing that has ever happened to AMA Pro Motocross racing and Supercross, and I think that it's maybe a hint that, you know, that privateers really do struggle, and it's something that we need to start paying attention to, and Feld members, so we can really start getting the people who are racing some funding so they can keep on racing each year. Like, it's super big of a process that we have to go through, and if we could limit the process, I think it would be a little bit better racing.
All right, Marshall Welton, man, bringing a 250 into the top 5 at the PulpMX LCQ Challenge. Just tell us about the race and how it went for you.
I mean, I try to take the numbers off the table. I do a lot of local money races in the off season, so that was kind of my mindset going into it. Just kind of go out there and race and do what I can. I mean, got up to a decent start. I think I was around 10th place, and I just tried to, I mean, there's definitely some carnage first couple laps. People were slamming each other, and I wanted no part of that, so I luckily just stayed on 2 wheels and kind of put myself in position towards the end. And Chiz and Breeze snuck by me. They're the only 2 that passed me, and a little bitter about it because I feel like they didn't really pull me much at the end, so it's tough when someone passes you and they don't like go, you know. So I feel like I was close to that pace and I was on it. Just yeah, I'm overall happy though with how everything turned out, and it's nice to put a little bit green in the account instead of just going so red.
Yeah, well, like you said, you've done money races before. Was there like added pressure, I guess, knowing how much money was on the line for this race? Or?
Well, originally, like last weekend, it wasn't like, you know, it's gone up a lot in a week. So, I mean, like I was saying, I don't really feel like I felt much pressure just because I am familiar with doing local money races. That's kind of where I make that's my niche in the off season. Is I'll drive up and down the country, all, you know, east to west, north to south, anywhere I can go to make a dollar. So when it's like that for those races, there is a lot of pressure because a lot of times there's like 5 laps, same deal as this. You know, you just got to go out there, do it, and as soon as you like. some of the best information or best like advice that I've ever got was from Zach Osborne's dad, Mark. They're like the founders of PulpMX, so I kind of got to know him pretty well. And Mark told me, and he's like, I mean, I wasn't making any money then, and I really don't make much money now, but he's like, if you take the money off the table, are you still, you know, like, how are you gonna race?
Yeah.
And I think that's where Zach gets a lot of his ambition from. Is kind of, he's taught that from a young age. Like, you race to race. The money's just an added bonus. So it was fun. I actually had a lot of fun out there. The track's flowing really good this weekend. I'm excited to go for it tomorrow.
Nice. What gate did you draw?
That's 10.
10? Okay, so were you like by the box or?
I think I was middle left. Yeah. A lot of guys are like paying for new gate picks, but mine wasn't bad enough to pay for a new spot. If I was 20th, I would have been out there hustling a couple $100 to be like, yo, I need it.
Yeah. And then lastly, just kind of tell us, you know, how much it means to you and really all privateers that, you know, they do this, they put this, Steve Mathis puts this together with Yamaha and they have this kind of money race. Like,
man, I can't be more thankful for Steve because he really does look out for the privateers, from giving us exposure to doing races like this to, you know, trying to connect us with sponsors, with whatever he can do. He's honestly a class act, so I got to give it up to Steve. Like, he never has had to do anything for me, and he's actually gone out of his way a lot in the past to just make sure I'm okay. So there's a lot of gratitude expressed toward him.
So just tell us briefly about your race and kind of how it went for you out there.
Not too bad. Actually got off to a really good start. About KO'd myself in the first rhythm. I got a little antsy and overshot the first double straight into the face of that single table and got like, I was looking at the sky, but somehow salvaged that. Made a couple big mistakes in the whoops as well, but I pumped up pretty bad because I had some big ones. But I mean, I salvaged a fifth. It was, you know, tough with Brees and Chiz. I mean, they're fast, so. But not too bad. I mean, somebody handed me a check for how much money I made. I wouldn't be pissed, but not too bad actually.
Was there like added pressure, I guess, knowing how much money was on the line, I guess?
Oh yeah, dude. Like I'm still shaking right now. I don't know if I'll ever have an opportunity to make about $25,000 ever again. So yeah, I was shitting my pants on the starting line, but you know, to salvage a fifth, I mean, that was still pretty stacked, but you know, I'll take it.
What was it like in your mind when Chiz comes by you though? And you're like, come on.
I just got chizzed all over, man. From the second row. Like, come on. He passed me on like the third or fourth lap. I'm like, bro, you're in the second row. How did you still win? Dude's an animal.
Yeah. All right. Well, lastly, you know, just what does it mean to have, you know, Steve, Yamaha, everybody that puts this program together so you guys can make a lot of money like that with me?
Dude, I feel like we're all in the same boat, dude. We're so thankful for Steve. Like, he does so much for our sport, so much for guys like myself and, you know, all the privateers. It's crazy. Like, I mean, if I got fucking 10th place in the main tomorrow, I still won't make what I just made, getting 4th place in Steve's race, like, or 5th place. It's crazy. I'm very thankful for Steve. It's